Welcome, ladies and gents. It is day 2 here at the Intel Extreme Masters Season 10. We're live in Taipei, and I'm joined by Moses and Vendetta once again. How are you guys doing this wonderful day? Wonderful morning.
Yeah, doing pretty good. Getting ready to see, obviously, a tiny bit of changes coming into the group that wasn't quite expected, but still, you know, looking forward to see Renegades and Mongols playing.
How are you feeling, Moses?
I'm probably feeling the best of all of us here on the desk. I know you guys had a struggle with jet lag, I think it would be.
Jet lag is a cruel mistress. A very cruel mistress.
I had a good night of
indeed.
sleep. I finally have kicked the jet lag demon. Had a beautiful dinner last night, the Japanese barbecue.
Yeah. I think Dan tried to have a nice dinner. Struggled a tiny bit.
It was
figuring out how to actually eat it.
But then it worked out well. I had
eventually
hot pots. It was nice. We don't really have that in the UK, or at least I've not had it.
I'm sure they have a hot pot place there.
I'm sure it's there somewhere, but not. It was really good. It's really good though. Not like quite like that. It's a Japanese style hot pot. It's very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
The food here is excellent, I must say. And I'm sure we will find something else to experiment with tonight. I always seem to be running into like weird dishes. Everyone else is always safe. I'm always.
But yeah,
first it's stinky tofu and dark blood. Then it's like a weird hot pot with like a weird propane tank attached to it.
You've just been a train wreck this whole week.
Yeah,
it's what it comes down to.
You kind of do it by random as well. We would actually like look at the menu and then decide. You're more like, I'll have this.
Yeah.
Just like blindly check off something.
I did ask for an English menu.
When Dan
No
goes
English
in.
menu, of course. So just point. This looks good. Let's have that. Anyway, let's check out the schedule and see what games we have to expect in the coming days. So Group B, of course, is day 2. That is today. As you can see, we've already finished Group A. That was yesterday, and we can talk about that in a little bit. And of course, we will have the semi-finals on day 3, and then we are going to go and decide on day 4 who is actually going to get the spot for the Katowice tournament, as well as also the majors. We've got 2 spots for the major, which is pretty important. Usually the prize money that's what teams are playing for, but here we have a lot of tickets, and especially considering the Asian region, it's something we can cover again. It's very, very crucial that they actually are able to get into the European scene, into the North American kind of scope with winning these tournament spots. That could mean sponsorships. It could mean going full time. It could mean a lot of things here for these teams down in Asia. And so far, we've seen some good stuff. I mean, CyberZen yesterday. If we go into
Looked really, really good.
Group A, yeah, they looked really good. Actually, they looked very solid.
Shaky start. It seemed like they got warmed up, and that second match they played in was just a really, really nice performance. And we saw a lot of the things that the Europeans were talking about after Star Series was the use of nades, the flashbangs, the really good teamwork, a lot of very solid coordination, and they just crushed in that second game. So that was good to see, because we talked about after that first game might have been a little bit shaky confidence in them.
Yeah,
just how they appeared, but also, I mean, you go back to that game. Risky Gaming was like the most impressive team to me, considering what we came in expecting out of them.
Yeah,
as we can see though, they
did go out, but we were expecting that to be a whitewash. We were expecting Risky to potentially pick up 4 rounds during the entire tournament. Instead, they actually battled it through. They beat MVP Cardinal, which I think nobody actually...
Huge upset. Yeah,
nobody actually thought that was going to happen. I had MVP Cardinal actually going through as the second team. For me, so I did a complete Moses in my prediction.
But it's also kind of crazy because MVP Cardinal, they had a bit of a weird time of it. The train game the train game that they had against Risky did look pretty decent actually. Looked pretty solid overall. But then we go into the crazy Dust 2 against the Chiefs in Risky Gaming to decide the second spot. Then it was just absolute chaos. It was quite hard to watch, actually.
From both teams.
So many
I think that was like home field for you. Like, this is something you're used to seeing.
Right, just watching the disorganization come out. Yeah, that was, it's one of those games that's fun because it's like, it's not the best Counter-Strike. So it just turns into this boxing match. There's no finesse. There's no style to it. No mechanical dominance.
Everybody's just free for all. Shots everywhere.
And it was fun, but it was a little sketchy to watch, and that was something we knew that we might see out of Chiefs, considering they have a couple stand-ins. Either way, they move on, and there's a chance now for Australia to get 2 teams going to the major qualifier.
And the score was actually quite misleading, because we see a 16-9 there, as you can see, for the side of the Chiefs to go ahead of Risky Gaming on Dust 2 right at the end of the day yesterday. However, I mean, Risky Gaming, they got the start that they needed. They had a really strong start on the CT side, but they just these mistakes kept seeping in, and it seemed to be that skill that was the fallback for the Chiefs. They could rely upon that, and despite them making a lot of mistakes and going for some crazy decisions. A lot of the time, the skill was always there to fall back on for them. So they, were justified in getting the spot, of course, in the second place there. And they are also playing with a couple of stand-ins as well. That's can't be easy for the Chiefs.
Not true, but I guess if you have to pick a stand-in while being in the Asian region, Top Gun is probably as good as it gets.
Absolutely, yeah.
Can't find a much more experienced player. He's got, he's been through everything. Like, he even played in the CGS back in the day, so he's been through it all. He's been at the big stage.
He's seen it all.
He was really, traveled around the world, right? Just like Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
So
there we go, yeah.
I brought it back from yesterday.
Nice.
No, but, Top Gun obviously not going to be completely in tandem with everyone else on the team, but still, I would be okay with that. It's kind of like getting your region's a top 5 player from your region into your team. It's like, that's always going to help. It's like, can I get right to step in for me for my pug team?
Well, now it gets sketchy because like they made it through, but now this is when they have Cyberzone, they have potentially Renegades and Mongols are going to be the 2 favorites in Group B to go through today. So I mean, no more mistakes for them because they can't play that kind of sketchy play style that we saw yesterday, that lackadaisical style, and expect to qualify.
Oh, they're going to
look at right now as well. We're going to bring up the Group B graphics so we can see which teams are actually going to be playing here today. And as you guys can see, the first thing to notice is that Tyloo have been disqualified. And this is, of course, due to an issue with QZ. And ESL have worked with Valve to investigate this issue. And he has been deemed so far to be ineligible to play and has been disqualified from this tournament and any future Valve-sponsored events. So that means that, of course, Tyloo are not going to be able to play at IEM Taipei, which is, of course, very unfortunate. That does change a lot in this group, as Tyloo definitely were probably one of the favorites to potentially even make it through to a top 2 spot in the overall tournament. But I'm sorry, Moses. I'm sure you did a lot of research as well, you, Halvor, on Tyloo, but it's
like the one team we could find demos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really just a bummer for the scene overall.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Indeed, absolutely. And so what have we got left here? Because we're going to have less games today.
Yep.
What are the expectations? How do things change here for you guys?
Well, this kind of went from being the group of death, according to, a lot of the teams in that group. They might be a tiny bit biased, but
Yeah, I mean, everyone was scared of Tyloo.
Yeah, exactly. And now all of a sudden you have 3 teams, and one of the guys you're fighting out the spot with is a Vietnamese team who has no experience at a big stage, and I don't think it's fair to consider them at the same level.
They do have a sick logo, though.
They do. They do. I'm not
really
sure how much that's going to help them in game, though.
Probably not much.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. This group became much more clear cut now with Renegades, with Mongols in it.
Yeah.
To be able to move on, because even still, even Chiefs, even Cyberzone, even MVP yesterday, talking with them after the event. I mean, all of them say that Mongols is an intimidating team. And in fact, the word they said is if they come into the game and they're on point and they're hitting their shots, like it can turn nasty real quick. They're not going to be the most strategically diverse team that we'll ever see, but this is a team that just thrives and snowballs off hitting really, really nice shots, just using their skill to open everything up for them.
It's like the NOA movie. They get all that momentum and they run with it. That's pretty much what they do.
Nicely done.
So it's gonna be exciting to see. I'm kind of worried for them because obviously they're not gonna get to play that first match. So they're gonna most likely go up against Renegades in their first game of the day. I'm not sure if that's gonna be a positive thing for them or not. Obviously they're gonna get to watch Renegades play, but they're not gonna have the opportunity to really play themselves into the tournament.
Yeah, but I mean, they got here about an hour ago, and immediately the first thing they did was come sit down at the computer, set up, and they're all, I mean, I can see their screen right now. They're all deathmatching right now. They're all playing. So they're warming up right now. And that's the big thing. That is, like, even Renegades was talking about it, and they're like, yeah, we have a match before we play them potentially. Not looking past that first team there, but they're like, if we do move on, we've had a game to warm up, to get used to the stage, to get used to the settings that we're going to be playing. And so a little bit of help there for the Australians.
Yeah.
So one thing, though, I mean, this is, again, it's been a bit of a theme for the entire tournament. A lot of these teams aren't so experienced on LAN. So we have this team, again, a little bit like Risky Gaming, I suppose, for the group. We've got Eat You Alive, which is brilliant name, of course, and absolutely fantastic. And their logo, also fantastic.
Fanboy.
Yeah, just going to throw it in there. But anything can happen. I mean, we don't know exactly just yet how they are going to perform on LAN, because it can always be the case that a team can sit down, they can play, and they can just play just like beasts. It's hard to know until we get into the match. So Mongols, maybe they'll underperform. Maybe we'll have an overperformance from Eat You Alive Gaming.
Yeah, and that's actually something that Blair told us about when we were talking about Mongols, because everybody was hyping this team up and saying that these are going to be the surprising team of the tournament who might even knock out someone like Renegades or someone like Tailu, and just really get on the map really, in not just Asian Counter-Strike, but just as a whole. But from what I heard from Led, like the Mongols have had issues performing whenever they get to offline tournaments, and they've been doing great online. They've had ridiculous streaks of wins and whatnot, but as soon as they played some of the Chinese teams offline, then they run into issues.
Right.
So I'm hoping that's not going to be the case for them now, and luckily for them, they do get.
I have an issue hearing you right now.
Yeah, I know.
I was just gonna say we have a.
The
It was pretty
PA
good yesterday, though.
Yeah,
sound-wise. But sorry, continue your point there.
No, but it's really just that Mongols have had a bit of a up and down. Well, they've been up and down performance-wise whenever they've gotten to offline tournaments, and I hope that's not going to be the case now, because they definitely need to play at the level they do online to actually make it through here and qualify for one of these two spots.
All right, and actually speaking of Mongols, Moses, Sniper, not to call you out exactly Sniper. He did say that Mongols were.
Yeah, he thought they would finish first in the group,
right?
which I thought was a little bit ambitious. It's definitely possible. I mean, watching some of their matches leading up to the event, they're a team that, much like MVP said, there's no real finesse. They're basically going to set up in 4-1s and just, blitzkrieg a bomb site. They're just going to stay outside of a bomb site for an entire round, throwing their nades, trying to take some fights, see what they find, and they're going to stay at that site for the entire round until they decide to execute or just walk in later on. But the big story for this group, and actually for me, this whole tournament, is Renegades. Like, this is a tournament that Renegades absolutely has to win.
They have
for me, this is
the dream, right? This is the dream now. Thailand have been kicked out.
Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone, and it reminds me of the last major with TSM. Oh, we just have to beat NIP. NIP have been sucking recently, and then we get straight to the... Nope.
What
happened
there? The thing, too, because Renegades isn't like... They're not like world beaters right now. They came over... They moved over to the States from Australia, obviously. They've been living in Vegas, and they've been practicing. They have their boot camp there. But the last tournaments they played in were back in November with all North American teams. Just talking with these guys outside of the game, outside of when they're playing, the North American team is in terms of getting practice there, hasn't been what they expected to be. They haven't been getting as much practice that they wanted at times. It hasn't been as efficient practice as they'd like it to be. So this is a team that, this is just massive for them, because with all the sacrifice of moving across the world, the organization putting them up in a casino in Vegas, like, there's a lot on the line here for them.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was about to ask the fact that obviously we often harp on the top echelon teams that they go to too many tournaments, so they don't actually have the time to practice at home and kind of hone in their skills and actually improve a lot over the course of the year, because there's so many places to go. And well, for Renegades, as you said, they haven't been to a tournament since November, so they would have had a quite large span of time where they could actually work on maps, they could actually work on their team play and improve in that way. But as you said, they apparently haven't got the practice results they wanted.
Even on top of that, they weren't in Pro League last season. So when they moved over, they weren't involved in any online leagues either.
No.
So they were just kind of practicing by themselves outside of the game. Probably a very similar situation to a lot of the Asian teams in terms of, hard to find practice, hard to find things to get involved in to help improve. So they've been isolated in their own way in America.
All right, well, guys, we can get more into more detail in a little bit, because it is soon time to start the show. We've got some games to be played. Of course, guys, we want you to be talking about all the action here that's going on live from Taipei. The Asian Counter-Strike that we are seeing, of course, we are without Tailu, which is a little bit of a disappointment. I'm sure everyone has felt that, as we did expect to see them play and potentially be able to get a pretty top spot. But we do have three great teams to investigate. Renegades, the great storyline there. Mongols, a very aggressive team. They're going to be very fun to watch. And, of course, also Eat Your Life Gaming. I'm actually not sure what to expect from them, but very curious to see what they have to show us as well. So start talking about this, get onto Twitter, social media. Hashtag IEM will, of course, be what we are using for this the duration of this tournament. And, well, it's going to be a really interesting situation, I think, for all these teams, and quite a battle, actually. And I'm really hoping that Renegades can actually just crush through, because that is really the position they're in at the moment. So we're going to find out very shortly as we get the show started.
and welcome 2016 Intel Extreme Masters 10 in Taipei. Hello， 所有我们现场的观众朋友以及正在收看我们直播的电竞迷们，大家好。
All right, it's time to get the action started, and I kind of led out there with a pretty long message, and the message was, Renegades, they have to do this. This is probably the easiest way to qualify that they could ever possibly have for a group. It's got to happen. Moses, are they going to do it? Vendetta, are they going to do it? How are Renegades
well, let's
going
just say
to
this is the easiest group they'll probably ever be able to qualify out of with 2 spots. All they have to do is essentially win this first match. But it's going to get hard after that. Like, it's not going to be a cakewalk to the qualifier with CyberZen on the other side. Chiefs actually even showing that if they can go nuts with the individual skill, they're going to be something to be reckoned with. But it is important to note that they have all the pressure in the world on them right now. Like, this is an event they have to win. This would be crushing if they lose this.
Yeah, how well they've Renegades have been in positions somewhat similar to this in the past.
Yeah.
How do they lose this whole situation? What has to go wrong?
Actually, well, I think that's the problem here for Renegades is the fact that well, if they end up second in the group, they're going to play CyberZen, and that's definitely an opponent you don't want to go into.
Very good point.
To have your tournament life in the hands of. The problem is if they win the group, they're going to go up against a domestic team. And especially with Top Gun, who knows them extremely well. And we know that domestic matchups oftentimes get really weird. So it's not necessarily the better team overall that wins every time. Sometimes it's just flukes that get to them, and people knowing each other and knowing the players' tendencies very, very well, just in and out. That comes more into play than what the team is actually structured to do. And I think that could be an issue for Renegades, but overall, I don't see it as very realistic to think that Chiefs, for instance, are going to actually be able to take out Renegades in best of 3. Yeah, because that's the big thing, because it's going to be best of 3s once we get into the bracket stages.
All right, so we'll jump into a bit more discussion on Renegades, but we'll first of all take a look at Eat You Alive. Let's have a look and see who we are dealing with here. There they are in the booth there.
Dan, tell me what I'm looking at here, Dan.
Moses, you still can't do the bard off, man. I know you keep trying. It is quite cute. We'll hopefully get there in the end. I'll get you full bard off. Don't know what that really entails. I don't think anyone really knows what the full bard off really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eat You Alive. So tell me some stuff about this team. If you guys had the opportunity to check out some demos or anything like that.
No, this is another team that has like no information on them. And even so, their online qualifier was just last week. So I mean, between they qualified, I think on Sunday was like the match. It was like the 23rd. So I mean, essentially, the demos haven't been out. The VODs are hard to find, and even then, it's just the competition that's there is something that you can't really take care of. So, I mean, this team is a big question mark, and that's probably their biggest strength here, is if they have some map that they're going to feel extremely confident on, some kind of curveball they can throw Renegades. Because that was even talking to Sponge when he's talking about the pick ban phases that they're going to have going against these teams from Asia. He's like, I don't know what they're going to let me pick. I don't know what they're going to give me. It is good to see that Eat You Alive banned Cash, because that's like Renegades.
Cash.
That's Renegade's favorite map. So it's good to see that they've at least done enough research to ban that map. So hopefully they've come in with something pretty crazy prepared. Special tactics.
Yeah, the one thing that has me worried is the fact that just as a trend, they vetoed custom maps.
Yeah.
On EU Live side, and still Cbble went through as the map we're going to play.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's just a case of the Vietnamese guys running out of vetoes at that point and being like, well, we can't actually remove it all.
Yeah.
Or if it's actually, it could be their best map. It definitely could be, but like you said, it's been extremely hard to actually find any sort of information about these guys at all.
All right, well, we'll be jumping into Renegades now, and these are going to be a bunch of lads that you will be quite familiar with. So dig in.
Listen, there's any potential for any of these players to just go nuts in this game. We don't know what we're going to see out of their opponents, what kind of level they're going to be at. So here's the crazy thing about them to me, and this is something we can get into, maybe next game if they're playing Mongols or when they have, the stronger opponent is, you look at this team and you say like Azur, JKS,
right?
These guys are the ones that stick out, YAM, that stick out to be these stars, the ones that are going to lead them to this win. But for me, when I watch Renegades play, the only time I'm really like impressed and I see them having success is when Havoc is the one going off.
This is actually a really good point because, as you say, like JKS, we saw him, a couple of majors ago having a really sick tournament.
I was at a G-Finity.
Whoa,
yeah.
This guy has some sick mechanics.
Right.
Actually, this guy has the ability to just just wreck everybody, just go nuts. And Azza also was heralded as a massive talent, but yeah, we have not seen that just yet. It reminds me a little bit of Azza reminds me a little bit of Kirby, actually. We know he's really good, but he hasn't had that tournament yet.
Well, Kirby might have just had one.
Yeah,
Kirby's finally gotten there, but
he might have gotten there. I mean, there's some, we can talk about that maybe in the next matchup. There's a lot of cool stuff that I've gotten help from some of the Australian analysts about these different players and their mentalities and everything like that. So we can talk about that next time. But I mean, this is the thing. These guys, if they drop the ball here, that would just be incredible. This would just be a massive upset.
So this is what I want to talk to you guys about, because when it comes to Renegades and their story, it hasn't necessarily been the fact that they lack the skills. We know that they have the skills.
Yeah.
We know they have team cohesion. But it does seem to be like there is a morale issue, maybe a pressure issue, maybe something about the psychology of the team that has been in the past dysfunctional. And what are your thoughts there? Because that's the only way that they've been losing matches that they should definitely have been winning in the past.
Well, that could definitely be the case. It's like, well, we said it from the get-go. This is their tournament to win.
Yeah.
Renegades have to win this. This is what's going to make their year, or at least the first 6 months of the year.
Yeah, which puts a lot of pressure and stress on them.
Yeah.
But in the past, I mean, even you think back to the last major qualifier for Cluj, that was kind of the talk of the talent that was at that event casting the games and on the desk was how stressed out Sponge seemed to be, how negative the body language from all the players was. And even, when I was out casting the last couple events they were at, the iBuy Power Cup back in November, it was the same situation where that's where Sponge kind of lashed out, and he was like, all these analysts and casters keep saying that, we can't cut it and we're not good enough, and that's not true at all. I mean, he's sick of hearing about it. Well, I mean, you got to put up at some point. And now this is an opportunity now for him to at least get to the qualifier and have that chance, because if he doesn't put up here in this lineup in this Asian qualifier, that's going to be a massive issue.
Actually, what's kind of scary for them as well, the last time we saw, well, and I think it was the qualifier for Cologne, actually. We saw them obviously qualify, but I think it was with immunity as well. The problem they ran into there is that they played a South Korean team, which is now MVP Project, but like playing their map, Cash, they were taken to overtime. So they barely dropped their own map, or their best map,
right,
in overtime to South Korean team. And at that point, or even still, South Korea is not known as a powerhouse in CS.
Not exactly, not yet, no.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you could say that Renegades, they might, the nerve factor might actually play a massive part here.
I think there's an interesting interaction between some of the players on this team, and like I mentioned with Havoc, being the one when they have success, he's the one that goes off. A lot of what the Australians have told me about is that Havoc he's used to being the star player. He's used to being the one who's putting up the big numbers. He's used to be the one having all the impact kills and being that, high volume fragger for all the teams he's been on in the past. And now that he's on this team and he has all this young talent, at times his role kind of shifts away into more of like a supportive, more of like a utility role, and he's struggled to adjust to that, where instead of being the go-to guy, he's being the guy who has to do a little bit of support. So you can see in his play where he has these matches where he goes crazy, and then he has these matches where he's a little bit lackluster. It's because whatever happens during that match throughout the course of the rounds, he's put in situations that he's not comfortable with, that he doesn't know how to adjust to. So that's kind of the stage that where we see where Renegades has struggled with this lineup in the past few months. At times it's very hit or miss. So hopefully the few months they've had off, the time they've had to practice, has helped, alleviate those issues.
So I do have the vetoes as well, so we can start talking about the maps a little bit. So it's You Alive, they dropped Train almost immediately. So that, I mean, what do you think about dropping Train immediately? Is that them saying, okay, we don't play Train, guys? Or is it?
Sure, it's a situation where no one in the region plays Train.
Yeah.
And no one really knows how to play it well. So, I mean, going into a team where you're going against a high experience team, Train's a map where the experience is always going to beat you out.
And we did see a Train yesterday, and it did definitely look a little bit shaky, but we are, of course, ending up on Cobble. As you guys can see, we're jumping into the ninth round. EU Alive just to finish the vetoes. They dropped Train, Cash, and Overpass. Renegades dropped Mirage, Dust 2, and Inferno to leave us with Cobble. And Cobble has been known, and yesterday we opened up with it as well. It can be a little bit volatile.
Bit of a team map.
So, quick predictions, guys. What are your thoughts on how this match is going to go? Of course, unknown quantity is EU Alive. Will they surprise us?
I'm expecting a big win for Renegades. I'm gonna go with the same result as last time, 16 or yesterday when Cybersun played 16-3 for Renegades.
I'm just gonna go with Renegades. I don't care what the scoreline is. It's not gonna shake my faith that they're gonna get out of this group. So I'm just gonna take Renegades.
Even if it's overtime.
Yeah, whatever.
Are you okay with an overtime though? Doesn't it?
Yeah, as long as they win, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't it have to be convincing at this stage?
No.
I guess no. It just has to be convincing the next game they play versus Mongols.
There's always a game that you struggle in, you know, especially early on in tournaments. There's always one game where, you know, you might have a little bit more of difficulty than you should. So I don't really care as long as they win.
It's a good point. You know, peaking in a tournament is the skill set, and
we saw CyberZen struggle in their first game, and then just blow up.
Struggle
in a little bit.
I would say coasting, but.
All right, guys. So convincing win. That is the thoughts of all the analysts on the desk. But we are going to be throwing over to the casters. It's Pansy and the lovely Blair.
Thank you so much, guys. It's always good to hear from the desk, see what they've been thinking about the games, obviously, yesterday, and now what we've got coming up today. But with, let's say, the second scheduled game of the day now, a little different than it was this morning.
Yep.
What can we say about this one? Because actually the main point is moving Renegades out of the equation. There's not a lot to say for these EU Alive boys.
Absolutely nothing much, to be honest. I have no idea about the team, so to speak.
Yep.
I do know a couple of them played in some older 1.6 teams back in the day, but nothing much to really look into. I don't know about the past. I think it's a pretty new team, kind of a mixed team that just came out from the Taiwanese guys. And to be honest, I think it might be a little lucky that Taiwan had their own qualifiers, to be very blunt. Like in ESL 1 Cologne last year when they had the qualifiers, they had to face off against the best team in Taiwan. They had to play against the team from Japan, that's a detonator. They got to play against the South Koreans and, of course, against the Hong Kong teams. And they got completely decimated, demolished, and they had no chance whatsoever. So the fact that they're here right now, they're a little lucky. Let's see what they are able to, you know, do with it. But Renegades, I think they should be like super happy right now, especially with the news of Tai Lu.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say is that I know EU Alive, when they qualified, literally only played Inferno and Cobble, got their victories throughout those maps. So it coming down to these two actually isn't the worst thing in the world for them. Now, I was speaking to Sponge a little earlier prior to the tournament kicking off, and he knew that the teams generically from this region actually have a map pool that is relatively similar to what they like to play. So they know what they're coming up against here. And seeing them take away Inferno, which is the highest played map, at least from what I could find from EU Alive, is either a sign of respect or just maybe not wanting to show all their cards. But we are live into this one. Renegades are on the T side, EU Alive on the CT side. And what do we see so far?
Just going to be just Clock Train pushing in. JKS, I think, spotted a man out, going for the burst fire. He's going to get the actually, it's going to be Azure going to get the kill onto 99. Interesting names here. Another nice shot coming out from Yam, and that's the ace completely in control. But there's still a CT lurking inside his side. He's not going to get the kill. Yam just flicks his crosshair into his head and is going to be, well, I think that's how his name's pronounced, in 1v5. He's going to get one, though, but this looks impossible.
It does to a massive degree, and I like this from Renegades, just taking the fight straight up brute force. No messing around, no sitting back passively, just trying to take these fights. I want to see what they upgrade to. Is it going to be the full SMGs just going all dirty, or will they at least complement it with the two rifles that we normally see them go for? To be fair, watching them back when Renegades used to be, you know, a little bit longer ago, they did complement it with an early AK coming into it, but obviously not going to be this time. Havoc sitting up on that UMP. And I was watching them earlier warming up, and Yam was actually just like practicing the smokes and just kind of refreshing himself for the map, it seemed. But looking on the other side, just CZs, 5.7s, nothing much coming out, no armor to boot, and that nade just absolutely ripped him apart as it just landing that right into the pocket of two. And already, this is a very confident start for Renegades, just splitting themselves throughout the map. They have complete control of B.
And Naz just might rack up the eco frags. He's going to go down in the end, though, to 99. But to be very honest, if you just looked at a Glock Train rush into A side, it's Renegades not bothering much with any finesse in their game. Just going to rush in, hammer down, eat you alive, basically eat them alive. And, well, I really don't see any major, you know, upset or any surprise coming from ETL. But let's say it's still early in the game. They did qualify. I do hope. They have nothing to lose right now.
Correct. It's bring everything out, do everything you can. But for me, the one thing I've got to look at is how Renegades just take this map on as a team. It's more about how they are going about this than what EU Alive are bringing in almost. Are these guys confident? Are they going for these kind of very, very aggressive plays? And it looks like they are. They do pick up the first over towards A long, but that's not where the hit's coming in. Players already splitting towards B have added the pressure, and look at this, a very clean round coming in from so far. They really shouldn't lose players in this situation, and their money is going to be absolutely sublime after this, bearing in mind. They've barely lost a player, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they just lost a couple of players so far. That's it. So the money should be pretty healthy for Renegades and ETO Alive right now. Let's look at what they're going to buy up. Might see an AWP coming out on I think it's I just who was informed that he does play with a big green, but let's see. They're taking the time.
It's actually a pause coming out as well. Maybe, I'm not sure if it's tactical yet. I haven't actually got an update on this one, but I'm actually hoping the Renegades stick with the SMGs almost. Hey, they've still got the 2 rifles there. They've got a lot of utility. If they can utilize those MAC-10s and, you know, maybe put Yam and Azza in these kind of dropping in towards drop, get that pressure on, yeah, it's disrespectful. Yeah, it's aggressive, and I wouldn't be too surprised if it worked, to be honest. It's obviously going to be hard to get through that armor, but then again, the UMP certainly has its benefits. It still can compete. So, wondering who this is for. I can imagine this is going to be surely a tech issue. It's so rare to see timeouts being called this early on at any singular point. Like, I couldn't imagine that being the case, but reviewing what we've seen so far, let's just kind of take a step back and have a little talk. It does seem as though there are admins on stage, so I will assume this may be a technical one. But now looking at Renegades, let's kind of see what they did so far. It was just very aggressive, I think, is what we can summarize.
Not giving E2 Alive any room to breathe whatsoever. Just an Azza in those 2 anti-eco rounds, just dropping down drop and just wreaking havoc, just flanking around. And E2 Alive not able to do barely any damage. Just got 2 kills so far in 3 rounds. And well, they don't have the money now to go for a pretty substantial buy, but I am really interested to see what they do. Are they going to take the fight to Renegades? Because if they keep playing passive, if they keep trying to play, you know, just 1 man in long, 1 man over in mid, maybe a couple of guys in drop. If they just try to play the very conventional, traditional way, they are going to get completely streamrolled by Renegades.
I spot on with that one, I'm pretty sure. And the one thing that, I can't remember who actually said it at the time, but I'm trying to think back, and my mind's gone completely blank, but sometimes certain players, it's always beneficial for them to be picking up, even just the eco frags at times, you know, bearing in mind that EU Live didn't have armor in some of these rounds, they were literally running in just with USPSs. It's almost good to see Azza picking these kills up, getting himself, you know, looking pretty confident. I'm hoping that he can get off to a good start, as well as Havoc, someone that was brought up actually on the desk as well, in the fact that he is one of those players that's expected to operate at a pretty high tier. He is meant to be one of those players who can do a lot of damage. He's really been kind of negated from a lot of this so far. He hasn't really had much of a chance to get into it. But then again, you know, when Azza's running around just getting massive amounts of kills, what does it matter? It gets the job done. So I'm hoping maybe those kills do pay a little bit into the confidence building up for Renegades here. They are the favorites by a massive margin on paper. So them being able to perform on this sort of level is a good start, but we're going to get ourselves back into the game, ladies and gents. The unpause is coming. We are going to see the AWP out of play already. So hopefully the CT side can handle this one, because Renegades, if they pick this round up, that money is going to be absolutely devastatingly good for them.
And it's going to be a full-on push onto the B side. It's going to be Kenny, completely blinded. He's got his teammate there, and it's going to be Aegis misses the shot. Perfect flashbang coming out. He's going to be blinded. Meanwhile, Jake Hayes with the Molotov onto Hunt. It's going to be kind of a fail, but kill coming in from Kenny. Aegis gets one. Aegis picks up a double kill, and it's going to be complete shut on the B side. Sponge, last man left alive, and he's going to get shut down. And E2 Alive, well, first buy round, didn't lose a single player there, and the Renegades, well, I really can't blame them. They had the 3 SMGs, and they might as well. They're still going to go for a very comfortable full buy. They have loads of money to work with. And now I'm interested to see what EYA or EYA are going to bring out of their game book here. Some nice shots coming out from him on the B side there.
I'm surprised he didn't even back away as well. The thing is that he got flashed, he got pushed, he tagged someone on platform, and then still delivered with 2. I was thoroughly impressed. Now, I'm wondering if there's ever going to be a chance given to him like that again from the Renegades. They might just kind of tighten up all of the screws, but then again, platform control goes over towards the CT side. Kenny, or KNY should I say, excuse me, putting himself just behind the big box here. And so far, Renegades now playing a little bit more, you know, standard, just seeing what's coming their way, taking their time, see if they can force a rotate, pick up anything coming through. The bomb is a mile away as well, but this could be important here.
And
in a really good spot.
I'm just shifting it up. I like what they're doing here. Trying to keep Renegades guessing. And I think what Renegades did in the previous round was basically a fact-finding mission. I mean, a position-finding mission, trying to find out, all right, you know what? Let's see what where these guys are going to set up. And the fact that they switched it up over to mid would keep Renegades guessing now. So this is a good play coming out from ET Alive. Renegades taking their sweet time. Still a minute on the clock, though, but by the looks of things, the C4 is making its way towards A here through Haystack. And now they got to contend with Aegis and his AWP. They have a man inside the side as well, who is Xbox.
why wouldn't it be Xbox? You know?
Why not 360s?
But let's see how Azza keeps them busy. Are they going to be able to get this rotate pretty much loaded pretty soon? Yes, they do. He went for the swing out then, but Sponge instantly punishes it on the push up through mid. But now the players on the site are already in position. They did get one player over, which is DZ, and now Kenny's found Azza. DZ's coming on towards Havoc. It's down to a 2v2. This is not a simple round, and suddenly we're in a 1v1. Yam's got it all to do. About 15 seconds, gets the bomb to hand, but now Kenny, KNY, this guy is still in this.
This guy's still in this. 45 points of health, so Yam does definitely have the health advantage, but the bomb is going to go down. Just 5 seconds remaining on the clock, and Yam now, he should have an inkling where Kenny should be coming from, but Kenny is going to land his shot. Is not going to land it, and Yam is going to clutch it, but once again, now this round, it did come down to the wire, so E2 alive. They can go for the buy here. They should pressure Renegades.
They were trading pretty effectively, to be fair. They rotated pretty quickly. They didn't get too caught up by Azza being the nuisance over by B. It's actually not a bad bit of play, so they are going to go for everything on this one. I guess just with the 5-7, of course, after being taken off the AWP pretty early on, and all rifles for Renegades, mollies to boot. They should be able to get relatively well set into this one. I doubt they're going to be as passive as they were last round, but pretty much the same setup, excluding Havoc, who's got himself a little further ahead of the curve than maybe I'd expect. Just peering down, seeing if anyone's going to get towards that platform again. No smoke there, but the boost is going to come out a little later on. So, again, Eat You Alive, varying it up, bringing out a little bit of nuanced plays that shows that they are certainly proficient in this map to some degree. People obviously doubting, is this one that they were happy on or just happened to end up on this? Certainly got something in store, still retaining some of the utility. They've got a little bit to work with here.
Indeed they do. Still a couple of smokes on 9-9. And I just can. They're playing a little close. Oh, nice spray down there from Kenny through the smoke. But quick trade coming up from Alza. He's going to take down a man that's DZ who's going to fall here. 4v4. Still 50 seconds on the clock.
And they force the rotate. They're going to put Azza in towards drop, just holding on, trying to make it back from B. Actually, stunning shot comes out then. That's a rifle recovered. Now they're surely going to know, hey, where the hell are the rest of Renegades? Suddenly all those mollies are going to be coming in. JKS is ahead of the curve. This could get a little bit worrying. 30 seconds now, and Xbox has slowed them down. This should be a round for you live.
Xbox, he gets the double kill, and it's going to be 9-9. It picks up the frag, and this is great work from here. Great work from me. They bounced back with style. They just lost to one man. And, well, I do think we might actually have a potential game in our hands here.
Renegade.
I've been kind of a little depressed ever since Tai Lu got knocked out. I'm like, oh man, you know, it's going to be walking the park with Renegades, but okay, this is fun. This is fun indeed. And Renegades, look at that buy.
The Tech-9 force up, just no messing, going straight back into it. Sponge and Azza are going to be the two players with that, and they're going straight out on this. It looks like maybe just going to smoke the platform, push the players through, maybe hoping to catch off if there was an AWP back in play, but obviously not going to be into this round this time. KNY, aka Kenny, is the man on the site. It
is his name.
It is actually his name. It's not just us, completely messing it up. But I'm liking this.
I like how Renegades are using their Molotovs so well, at least on the A side. They did a couple of pretty nice executes, but ETL have some very good trades, very good crossfires, and now they got, well, almost 4 members, like two guys watching drop. They can rotate real quickly here. And Renegades, they did keep Azza and drop the previous couple of rounds, but now it's just a 5-man commit into the B side. Here we go.
Well, Azza smokes down, denying anyone in the stack position, trying to make it a little bit harder. KD would like to bring that to play, but again, holding on well. Yam has picked up one, but only with the molly. Finally, Sponge lands a shot, but to be honest, Eat You Alive is still in. There's 2 players left standing. They aren't all that close play. Xbox a little bit slow on the rotate here. Bomb will be down, and they are set up pretty well. JKS still on the platform, as over by Chicken Coop, and Sponge playing pretty close to the site.
This is a brilliant mind games coming out from Renegades, because, Azza is going to take down the last man. The thing is, EA or ETO Live were expecting that guy to come down from drop. The 2 of the members were still looking at drop, even though it's a full 5-man commit. And Renegades, I think the fact that they kept Azza over in drop for like 2 or 3 rounds pretty much put the, seeded that doubt in the minds of EA. And I think that was a great. I think EA just kind of overthought it a little bit too much. I think 2 of them were caught out looking towards drop, even though it was a full 5-man commit by Renegades into the B side. But here we go, full eco round. A couple of CZs, the Deagle. That should be a pretty comfortable round.
Yeah, Renegades, everything to hand. They can put the mollies into corners, clear them out as quickly as possible. One has slipped through towards the side at least. That's DZ, but Sponge, he's doing this on his own. He just wants to get this round done and dusted. Bombs going to be planted. Nicely set up for anyone who wants to pull back and be a little bit more cautious, but a clean round. A truly well-needed one as well after the slight little slip Renegades made earlier on. They're starting to get themselves a little more comfortable here. And Havoc, again, a very quiet game so far for him. 2 kills, considering he is the man that people put a lot of pressure towards and, you know, expect him to come up with a lot of the goods. Not the best of starts, but hopefully building into the later game, we can see him coming up. But again, this is going to be a very quiet round, in theory, for EU Alive. Only a little bit of armor here and there. CZs, some 5.7s, and 2 smokes.
They could try doing something a little bit different here. And now if you look at what Renegades are doing, they're taking it very, very slow. This is the first time we've seen, I think, well, the second time we've seen them slow things down a little bit more. Taking the time. And I love the use of mollies here. They're not really underestimating EA, using all the nades. But it's going to be Kenny opening things up. He's going to find Havoc. Havoc really not having a great day. Sponge is going to reply back, takes on Kenny, and tosses the AK-47 away. So they won't be able to pick that one up. Meanwhile, Aza over in drop.
But Xbox and 99 are both over by B now, and I think someone's told them, guys, just in case they rotate, get back towards A, and they've just walked away. Now Renegades are just walking out on platform.
I really feel they should have just, you know, gambled one side, just stuck to the B side. There we go. It's going to be QZ getting taken down. They have no one in the side. They're going to get the bomb down here. As they're trying to go for the spray, he's going to whip it a little bit. Xbox going to get the kill, but he's going to get taken down almost immediately in 99. All alone with a CZ and armor, should be trying to hold on to that. But Renegades, another pretty comfortable round. They did lose 2 men, but they should be pretty happy with that. 7-2 to this Australians.
Yeah, going to be looking pretty well set going into the next couple of rounds as well. Now, they lost out on 2 players, but as said, it was just a bit of a shame that the 2 players from EU Live did just walk back towards A just as Renegades were starting to make their play. 99 going to try and go for some exits here, but with 3 players coming through, if he gets one, that's going to be great. He does actually do exactly that. and leaps to his doom. Let's say Ajam will comfortably close that one down. And to be fair, I've got to give credit so far to Sponge. In my eyes, he's been opening up these rounds. He's on 8-3. He's certainly not top fragging at the moment, but he has been opening this up. He was the one who bucked the trend. After those rounds got a little bit close, he just went beast mode and decided to really plow through. We are back onto the buy here. Once again, the AWP is going to be into the hands of Aegis, the man who made a massive amount of difference playing over towards B, hitting up some good trades towards A. I'm hoping we see a bit more of that going forward.
Indeed, but once again, this is something you notice from the CD sides of most Asian teams, is how predictable, how, oh, look at this. Oh, 99, he still managed to get the kill onto Yam before JKS takes him down. Now it's going to be Xbox alone on the side. He should be asking some reinforcements for his team, and here they come. But once again, I think it's Azur looking at drop. He's going to drop down, but it's going to be Xbox. Finds one, not going to get a second kill. Azur and JKS getting a couple kills as well. And it's going to be all down to DZ to hold on to the side. He's going to follow JKS, leaving it now all down to Kenny in a 1v2.
And Azur's fully aware of this. He's got to have known the only place this guy could have gone through would have been around the back, and he locks it down perfectly. Even if DZ, I think it was on the side, if I'm not mistaken, did manage to find that kill, it was always going to be a really tough task when the likes of Azur had just kind of slinked through enemy lines, just making his way down drop again. This guy's doing really well at just kind of playing that role.
And this sort of lurk on Cbble on the drop area is something which most Asian teams don't really think of. This is something which you see in the NA or the higher ends of the NA scene or the EU scene. Like basically what Azur's doing is, you know, being a thorn in the sides of EU Live in the drop area. He's flanking in sometimes, and sometimes he's just like going with the team together. But they're still paranoid. They're like, oh, he might just be right behind us. So, EU Alive struggling a little bit, but they're putting the pistols to great use, though.
Yeah, they are getting some kills. You can see individually they certainly are far from inept. They have some talent there. They have a lot of kind of fire to what they're doing, and it's keeping Renegades, I guess, humble to a degree. There's still confidence with Renegades, as they should have, but it's, you know, there's no lackluster plays here from Renegades. They are playing a little bit basic, a little bit more default, but they're still losing out on some of the trades, and they're going to have to depend on Havoc this time to be breaking open the side. Going to molly out towards Chicken Coop, try and clear out that corner, see if he's going to force anyone out the other side. But actually, is sat just behind Statue, so he's going to force the full push here, and actually gets a little bit of a tag.
How is Havoc still alive?
I don't know. Luck may be involved, or just very poor aim after I heard them.
And I'm a little surprised that E2 Alive haven't tried probably going for a reverse boost over in drop zone. It also could be because Azur's using his nades, or his utilities really well with nades, flashes, Molotovs, ensuring they're not able to go for the, for the CD counter boost onto him. But a little bit of aggression, just eliminate Azur, eliminate him from drop, ensure that removes a major thorn from the backside.
We have 2 new AWPers as well coming out for E2 Alive, KNY and 99. Now 99 has been playing up on A long, so not too surprising, but maybe Igus just not feeling it right now, maybe feeling that Kenny can live up to the name that he does bear from birth. So we'll find out. And again, this is the slow defaults we've been seeing coming out from Renegades, though. Working on B, see if they can get a pick. They push platform. This could be the difference maker, though. Smoke, they're going to slow down Azur, but the pop flash or Molly could follow off the back.
I really don't think Azur cares.
No. Absolutely no. He's going to play through it anyway. Pop flashes himself down, and we are going to be seeing the split coming through. Sponge this time has joined him, though. That's the difference. If they see Azur already through, they may assume that no one else is there, and Azur needs to make noise. But how has he gone this far? This is an absolute travesty. They've already infiltrated the lines, and he's been allowed to do this split without anyone making the protest towards it. Azur's in the perfect spot, and Renegades completely and utterly abusing the flaws that are in E2 Alive's strategy book right now, and this is a comfy pickup for them. DZ's a mile away, and Renegades, brilliant way to abuse the mistakes and any flaw that was in E2 Alive CT hold.
Okay. I mean, they just got dissected. The Renegades were a surgeon, and yeah, well, they're pretty much on a deathbed right now, if you ask me. They just got completely outplayed so well. Azur just sneaking in there. They're not even marking the window in drop zone into drop zone. Sponge holding the spot. Renegade just completely outplaying EA at the moment. And yeah, nothing much you can add to that.
No, and I wouldn't be surprised if now Renegades just maybe assumed that E2 Alive will try and switch something up, maybe stack out towards drop, and maybe they just work towards platform. They've been doing this kind of on and off intermittently, but Azur's going to get the pick again. And I just wish they pay a little more attention, even on rounds like this when they're just down to the pistols, to try and do some damage towards drop, because they know it's already going to be a bulldozer coming through from Renegades, just hammering their way towards the side. And I guess consistently been playing on the B side. Does at least find Azur, but I don't know. Oh, he does even get the rifle. He's got the head armor. And doesn't get another step up.
Havoc with the up, haven't seen that in a while. But 11-2, and well, Renegades. I'm more interested to see, well, assuming Renegades are going to go through, which is the very likely outcome here. They're going to face off against the Mongols. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, not sure if this is the best of warm-ups for Renegades. Maybe just to get there, at least, literally warmed up, as in,
they
able
are,
to click and shoot. But mentally, maybe not the best of games so far. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, Kenny this time with the AWP as well.
Let's see what he's going to do here. Havoc, meanwhile, with the AWP. Just trying to look around B-plat. It's not going to find anyone. Meanwhile, Kenny and Xbox.
They've switched up where they're playing as well now. 99's over at B. Kenny this time over at A with the AWP. And I just wish they'd play a little bit further out from drop. Maybe for, I guess, a little bit more passive, just playing around the back. But Xbox this time on the verge here.
On the verge and Xbox just waiting. And it's going to be once more man pushing out over from long. It's going to be Yam trying to pre-fire on the corner. Not going to catch him out. Taking it a little slow. Still a minute on the clock. Lots of time to play with it. And you can see the C4. All the remaining members of Renegade slowly pulling back, going all the way over to B, where Havoc is leading the charge here with his AWP. Slowly clearing out the corners. They have 3 men this time around. They're just waiting to explode out into the side. JKS right next to Havoc as well. Nice time flashbang coming out. Havoc spots the man on. He's going to get a first strike onto 99. JKS to drop down. It's going to be JKS. Picks up easy double kill, and that's a B-side. Completely in control. JKS continues spraying. Going to be taken down by Kenny, but Kenny and Xbox in a 2v4. Again, looks almost impossible, but Kenny picks up another frag, and Havoc finally finds him. Last man left, Xbox. What could he possibly do?
He could maybe keep an or just go for the challenge. Why not? You're in a 1v3 after plant situation. Sure, you can do it, buddy. I believe. No, it does seem as though he's going to make his run now.
He didn't even
pick the AWP.
Pick the AWP as well.
I don't know if he just. I don't know where it went in the end. I know Havoc picked up the kill, but kind of surprised he didn't actually even go for that one. And I can imagine Kenny's going to be like, guy, what he really? Oh, it really wasn't that far away, I don't think. Unless they hit it, actually.
And the money is, well, it's max money bonus, so it can still buy up. But
No, the AWP was literally behind the door. So I'm really surprised they didn't even try and pick that one up.
Maybe he was assuming that Havoc was still marking it, perhaps.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Certainly could be a factor. But 2 rounds. Let's kind of just take stock of what we've seen. This is the scoreline I expected, if I'm honest. But EU Live did show a little bit of a
glimmer.
There was a glimmer of hope, and I was like, guys, we got a game.
But it was like, wait, I think like, we kind of jinxed it early on.
We
We were
did.
like, you know, we got a game in our hands, and Renegades like, Oh, that's not happening. As once more, it's gonna be. I mean, this is just Renegades just abusing people at the moment.
JKS literally just walked straight through. There was an AWP holding that, and he doesn't care. Look
Oh
at this.
my
He's just
word.
going beast mode. He's like, all right, I get it. The utility's not in play for the CT side, so he's just going to walk through and take the fight. And why not? He's still on the chase. I guess could be in serious trouble. He's about to get challenged down as well. And look at this guy, JKS, just making a beautiful debut to the stage, just man-moding through this map. Now, Kenny.
Last man left alive, and the 4K from JKS. This is obscene. This is painful to watch.
That was a little dirty.
Yeah. I really do feel bad for ETO Live that they have to face off against Renegades, who are by far the favorites to win this entire thing. And I think it would be a massive upset if any team, like even, although CyberZen are, you know, said to be perhaps the best team in Asia right now, considering Tyloo aren't even in contention at the moment. But yeah, they seem pretty all right. They're like, you know what, it's okay. Yeah, it's Renegades.
See, this is the thing. If you're EU Live, how much can you expect? Of course, you always want to go for the win, but you're not going to sit there beating each other up about this because, to be honest... Oh, wow. What are we seeing from Renegades? Nades? No arm apart from Azza.
4 nades, couple of flashbangs in the
5-7.
smoke. And 9-9 is going to open things up. What is this? Another kill comes in from DZ. And the nades raining in, doing a ton of damage, but not going to get any kill. And then here we go, Havoc and JKS reply back. Havoc with a double kill. IEM is going to reply back as well. They get down to 2v2. And Yam tapping away and all down now to Xbox. He's got a P250 in hand. But can he clutch it is the question. He's still... Oh, never mind. Never mind.
I thought maybe EU Live just were just waiting for the T side, you know what I mean? Just like a pure T side team can only get T rounds, but
14-2, just two nails left in the coffin. And for Iya, well,
it's a learning experience.
it's a learning experience, I guess, but you know,
It's a brutal one.
it's extremely, extremely tough for them. They're just gonna go for the Tech 9 CZ armor buy, hope for the best.
And I like this from Renegades as well, stacking straight 4 out to B. Havoc soloing out on A. Now, if the pace slows down, then okay, they might have to reset this, but they could just push straight through. They could just go through that smoke, use the flashes, do what they want, be that brutal force. But Renegades at least kind of going for, I know you're going to just go on this one, you might as well. Let me see what we can do about that.
And I know they're taking a lot of damage over. You know, the B side is all falling back. They just got the one flashbang to work with, and that's going to be painful because Havoc, he has that MP9. He's alone inside the side, so if they make a fast play, it could work. Just slowly taking the time. Still looking a little... Well, the bomb's falling back to B.
They're trying to sell the double fake, I guess, almost, if you want to call it that way.
Yeah.
Pushing out to B initially, rotating the vast majority over towards A. Actually, okay, Sponge is there, as is going, but JKS and Yam are not quite taking that bite at the cherry yet.
They're going to try and go for the flank coming in from drop.
Oh, this could be good as well, but JKS
waiting.
suddenly realizes what's up, and it doesn't go so well.
He's going to get the 1 kill, and it's going to be Kenny. 1v4, picks up a double kill, 17 points of health. And I don't think it's going to work out. Azers are going to peek around the corner, sprays him down in midair, and Kenny caught jump. And 15-2 Renegades map point, and they're just 1 round away to facing off against the Mongol Horde in game number 2.
Renegades, I don't think this will be a big victory cheer from them. I think it'll be more a sigh of relief going, okay, dodge the first bullet, now we need to keep going on the next. So, force up everything they have to coming out for EU Live, and it's still not much. P250s and no armor and minimal purchases. So
DZ and Xbox might bang the Galils for Aegis and Kenny.
Yeah.
So they have nothing to play with, just 2 P250s. This looks pretty much impossible. As Renegades should take this very, very comfortably.
Exactly what you'd want to be seeing if you're a Renegades fan as well. This sort of dominance, this sort of power.
But then again, you know, if this was against Mongols, I'd be like, yeah, these guys are back on point. but
this tells nothing to the bigger picture of Renegades.
exactly. I still don't know how they've been away for a while now, so let's see what they're gonna try here. They're gonna come charging in. Sponge, easy pickings from him, a double. Kill should come out, picks it up, gonna finally fall to Aegis, but he's got his teammate to back him up. Havoc's waiting for them to make the play, continues spraying, switches over to CZ, he's going for the 100. Bombs drop from no man's land. Kenny has, however, got to win the duel with Havoc. JKS picks up another frag, and it's gonna be Kenny. 5 points of health. And, well, you can pray to as many gods as you believe in, but this is not happening here. So it's gonna be 16-2, ladies and gentlemen. Renegades taking it very, very comfortably.
Yeah, this is the perfect beginning for them if you want it in a scoreline way. Only losing 2 rounds is absolutely perfect. Now, Azza should be the one to place these into the chest of Kenny. Even if he just sprayed for it then, to be fair. Oh, the one bullet in the end just to seal the deal. And there we go, 16-2 Renegades. Hopefully starting as they mean to go on for their sakes after a lot of questions raised about them. You know, how are they going to do in this tournament? They've been away for quite some time from the bigger stages. Hell of a lot of practice put it into this. Hell of a lot of money behind them. Good start coming out. Not the biggest opponent. And for really, Eat You Alive, a really tough first game.
And I mean, I kind of feel bad for them, but you know what? You played against the best team in this tournament, at least on paper. So take it as a learning experience. They still have another chance. It's a double elimination group stage. Now it's going to be Renegades facing the Mongols. That's going to be a game to watch. Definitely a game worth watching. And Eat You Alive. I mean, they still have a chance to bring it back. They showed some promise, some nice shots, whatnot, but they just were too raw to face off against a team like Renegades.
I'm absolutely 100% with you on that one. Hopefully they can go back, maybe have a quick discussion, pull themselves back together for their later games today, but this could be a very short day at this sort of rate. But anyway, let's hope it does get a little bit closer down the line. But guys, that is enough from us. Let's hear it from the desk.
All right, so it does appear that Renegades had a good result there, but it definitely was a lot closer than the score would suggest.
I think it's true for the first maybe 9-10 rounds, because there we actually got into a lot of situations where the Vietnamese team lost. Obviously, it's seeing how the score went. Actually lost a couple of 1v2s, 1v1s, that type of thing, and it seemed like Renegades were taking it a tiny bit easy. Just didn't seem like they were going full force until the final stage of the game.
Yeah, it's something, and I even commented to Anders while we were watching it, was that, or similar, one of the two that are basically
they're pretty much
at
the
this point.
same. Yeah.
But like Renegades opens that up so conservatively, just kind of seeing what they're working with, seeing what the other team's going to throw at them. And it was so conservative. Like most teams, especially you see like European, when they know they're the better team, they just wreck and body and just run around and destroy everyone on the map. And Renegades didn't do that. They just opened up conservatively, and actually they got a couple rounds taken off of them. And I was wondering, like, when are they going to turn it up a little bit? When are they just going to start flexing and really crank up the speed? And it eventually happened. And, you know, the 2 round wins that Eat You Alive got early on put the economy in a dodgy situation for Renegades, where they almost had to save very early on. But it was Sponge who came up. He had like a big triple kill in a round. That's what really forced Eat You Alive onto a save, got the economy of Renegades, you know, strong, stable. And then from there, I mean, that's when they started flexing. That's when they started just muscling these guys out of the server. So overall, I thought it was a good showing out of Renegades.
I think it was either you or Semler who mentioned that during the game, that Renegades never really play like they're the favorite to win.
Yeah. That's what I mentioned.
Yeah, which is very true. And I think eventually they understood that, well, we are the favorites. We are the better team, so we can do pretty much whatever we want. Because eventually you saw, well, you know, Izidar and JKS kind of just running about, finding frags here and there.
Wreaking havoc.
Yeah, wreaking havoc. Good one. Solid. No, but they kind of just did their thing. But I do have to say that I actually like the fact that they started out conservative, in the sense that when they were up against an eco, they would still use tons of Molotovs. They would just carpet bomb the entire B bomb site. So they're not leaving things up to chance.
Yeah, they even did that once they started running away with it, and once they started really exerting their will. They kept that. They kept that fundamental, you know, use the nades to clear everything out. Made things a lot easier for them, and that's why we saw like a 16-2 score line instead of maybe 16-7 or 8, because they kept up with that, just the fundamental nade usage that they worked on. I thought they came in very much prepared. Semler commented during the match that, okay, Renegades done their homework, watching the smokes they were lining up for, watching how they were setting up into defaults. So really good showing out of them against a weaker opponent, and then they've got Mongols next, so I mean, that's going to be the true test now.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed seeing Renegades actually, as you said, flexing and really getting their teeth stuck into that one. But I want to talk a little bit about what we saw from EU Live, because of course they're going to be playing the losers match now against against the
whoever loses
the next
Renegades
match.
and Mongols, yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. So it's likely the way it should work out is that it'll be versus Mongols. We have yet to see how Mongols are going to be playing today, but we know they're an aggressive side. So what did you guys actually notice about what is otherwise an unknown quantity in EU Live gaming in this this cobblestone match?
One thing that will actually be a big issue for them, if it's a consistent problem for them, is the fact that when Renegades started splitting things up, when they started throwing out solo players towards one bomb site, basically just kind of free roaming a tiny bit, the Vietnamese side really struggled with actually making proper rotations. They really did that. So they got caught out. They never really had the proper defense set up at any given point towards the various bomb sites. So a lot of times you'd see, even though it could be a pretty telegraphed B take coming in from Renegades, you'd still only see 3 people from EU Live towards that B bomb site instead of having that usual, maybe you have one guy push a tiny bit more aggressively on A and A halls, that type of thing, and have the second guy rotate over towards B, so you have a stronger defense. You never really saw that out of them, and if you're going to play versus a super aggressive team like Mongols, I think you kind of need to, not necessarily over-rotate, but you need to be on point with your rotations, otherwise you're just going to get smacked down each and every time because they're going to have the man advantage.
It was just the standard inexperienced team stuff where, like, they showed early on that they could take some aim fights, they could take some of those duels and win them, that they weren't lacking necessarily in just the flat-out aim department.
Yeah.
But it is when Renegade starts doing a little bit more complex things they probably haven't seen in terms of teamwork. When Azure pushes in towards Connector as a terrorist and is just destroying everyone, trying to rotate back and forth between the bomb sites, that's when the response is lacking because they're not experienced with it. So it's basically one guy saying, all right, I have to take this one-on-one fight and clear this out, instead of waiting for a second player from B to come in, or coordinating some kind of pinch to take Azure out and free things up for his team, which is pretty typical. But it could be a situation like yesterday where that's, once again, the inexperience. This is the first match they play. We saw Risky Gaming really struggle on the same map to start their day off, and the next match was like, all right, now they know what it's going to be like with the crowd. Now they know what it's going to be like with the noise. Now they know what it feels like to be up on stage. So next time they can play a little bit loose, get into their game maybe a little bit easier, and put up a better showing.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility, and I actually lost my thought. So there you go. There you go.
It's okay.
Hey, man, it was a long night.
It's been a really long night.
We'll have a lot more time to talk about this. So we'll be going into the next match very shortly, and it will, of course, be Renegades versus Mongols. Very curious to see how Mongols will be playing. But, of course, you guys can create your own highlights of all the Intel Extreme Masters action that you are seeing across the few days of Counter-Strike that we are seeing in the Asian region here, live from Taipei. Plays.tv, head on over to that website and check out the Chrome extension and have a play around and share it with us. Hashtag IEM, share it with, you can tag me if you want, you can tag Moses. You can just tag some Creamy Moses in there as well if you want.
There it is.
There it is. It's
Get it in, Dan.
point. But of course, we'll take a short break and we'll be back with the next match.